provide with safety evacuation protocols, like I said, emergency preparedness, bus safety, safety measures within schools. We're working with the safety and the safety office to bring you a presentation on that as well. Are there any other topics that anyone else feels that they would like to, they have interest in? Just feel free. We're just going to jot them down and try to bring them to you.
Is there a way that we can talk about travel training? Like, I can speak specifically. Hi, I'm sorry, I'm Christy Angel. I'm also a council member for Citywide Council for District 75, but I'm speaking as a parent. For my son, he's 17, Down syndrome, ADHD, behaviors on the spectrum. I am terrified of travel training with him because I know there's some things that he cognitively can get, and there's some behaviors that aren't appropriate for the train. So it's like, for those of us that are behaviorally sensitive, how do we approach travel training? Because I want to jump into it, but do they have an area that is for us, you know?
I believe there is an area. My daughter just recently started the pre-travel training program in the summer, and there were a variety of children there. So you go through the pre-travel training program, you are assessed, they take you out that week or that weekend in a group, and they assess your ability. He has some time. He's 17. He will leave District 17. He will leave District 75 at 21. So he has some time. So I'm going to try to bring someone, David Abraham from the travel training program.
Okay.
Thank you for bringing that up, and have him talk to us.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
That's great. Yes. And the puberty stuff is great too. I think whatever you come up with that is, we're there. So yes.
Thank you. Any other suggestions? Any other thing that, as Ms. Angel said, scares you, that you have some reservations about, that you want to help solve?
Aisha, if I can just say something, just to talk about personal safety. I know that some of our children are, not physically fit to defend themselves. I'm wondering if we can find some sort of sponsorship around some sort of physical activity where children will feel safe in their own space and, in the city that we live in. Maybe some sort of, I know there were some sort of training programs around Taekwondo, some sort of karate, Taekwondo, also some boxing, something physical where our children can let off aggression and also train them to be safe in that respect.
So like self-defense, spatial awareness?
That is exactly it. Thank you.
Okay. That's a great topic. So we'll work on that as well.
And I think there's also some sort of those that may not be able to be physical. There's like a warning system. I'm not sure. I'm not too familiar with it, but like there's something that we can explore.
Yes. So like you and I spoke about before, we wanted to look into, in terms of many of our children are wanderers, and we want to get the police department involved and see how we can work with them to have, to develop preventative measures and then be proactive if and when those, it happens, because it will happen for some of us, right? So we're going to continue to look into that as well. Is there anything else? Any other topics?
Previously?
Miss Sai, can you think of anything?
I'm thinking of, how they do emergency drills, like fire drills and lockdowns, and the two separate ones, like soft lockdowns and hard lockdowns. I know that, parents are always aware of, what that entails for our kids, like how they will be able to comprehend as to that looks like in the classroom. Remember, if you recall, like last year, in Brooklyn, the individual that was underground and then was started shooting, and then he left, and then all the schools were locked down in that area. So just thinking of like that.
Yeah, definitely. Emergency readiness, definitely. That was actually right by my daughter's school. So I do remember.
Yeah, that was scary. And I think like, for anyone, like I know Sandy's Hook is something that we all remember for somewhere in the suburbs, but like in New York City, anything can happen. And especially with, like at that time, like it was like what, 8:30, 9 o'clock, like right when kids are starting school.
Yeah, many kids at her school didn't arrive till later in the day. So they didn't know where the children that were travel trained, because the trains shut down and the buses were rerouted. So they didn't know where the children were. My daughter personally, just a little something. My daughter, I put a tracker on her phone. And I think even if the child is not verbal, they could still have a phone, and you could still teach them to use the emergency buttons, and you call 911 and just have a tracker, put it in their book bag. And just something that I've done. My daughter's been missing numerous times, and that's how I found her at least once. It's just a suggestion, but we'll definitely.
I also wanted to just also add on, if possible, like I know that before the committees had split, we used to say on safety at the same time. And the reason why that is because, safety, it covers everything, right? From once the child's on bus to going to school, coming home from the bus, from school. So just wondering, maybe school bus awareness of safety.
Yeah, school bus safety, yes. Okay. Thank you for your input. Appreciate it. And okay. So Miss Gordon, if you would like, we don't have any other parents that would like, if you would like to begin your your presentation, you could take the floor.
Okay, so I have a PowerPoint and I guess I can share it now. Let me see. Hold on. Okay. Oh, you have to let me share my screen. You're muted. Oh, I could do that now. Okay, so let me see. Okay, you can see it? Okay, good. So this is me. Let me see if I can do, is it better? Can you all see it? Or do you want me to do a slideshow? You're muted.
I can see it.
Okay.
You want to use a full screen?
You want a full screen?
Yes.
Okay, hold on. Okay. All righty. So we have a full screen. Hello, good afternoon, good evening, actually, to everyone. I'm Charlene Gordon. I'm from the New York City Department of Health. And within the health department, I represent the Bureau of Environmental Disease and Injury Prevention. So this committee is really great for us because it's all on safety. Within that, I represent, as I said, the Education Community Partnership Unit. We focus more on educating the community about different environmental health topics. If you need to reach me, that's my contact information, and I thank you all tonight to invite me, Aisha, for this meeting. I know we've been going back and forth emailing, but we finally got a date and everything pinned down. And yes, I I'm happy to share, and hopefully at the end you can take this information and share it with other parents or any groups that you're working with. So our mission, it's important to understand what our mission is. Our mission basically is the Bureau of Environmental Disease and Injury Prevention is to prevent environmental disease and injury in homes or communities and the workplace, and to protect health by promoting healthy environments and health equity. So little exercise, since it's a small group, it's 10 of us, on why should we be so concerned about home environmental hazards? Why do you think we should be concerned about it? Does anyone want to add in the chat and just let me know of, why do you think we should be concerned about environmental hazards in our home? As parents or as individuals, why do you think we should be concerned? Does anyone, want to make a guess? Anyone wants to add in the chat? Okay. Well, as Karina says for kids with allergies, yes. Kids with possible poisoning. Oh, yes. Oh, definitely, yes. Poison, and it could be different types of poison. Yes. So yes, so those are some examples of why we should be concerned about these environmental hazards in our home. Okay. Oh, it's freeze. Oh, okay. So as far as that, just to let you know that since 2020, people are spending more time in their homes than ever before. We still do, like some of us are. Homes, if poorly maintained, can be hazardous to our residents or to our family, to your families, etc. Home health hazards may lead to illness, such as lead poisoning, asthma, allergies, and or injuries related to falls, fires, and poisons. So this diagram I have here is a diagram of, it's old, but it is important to actually just take a look at New York City neighborhoods as it pertains to lead poisoning. So as I mentioned, that's a hazard that affects young children, that can affect young children. And keep in mind that any child that's at I think somebody will admit, any child at age 1, and there's a New York State law that says any child at age 1 and also at age 2, it is mandatory for that child to be tested for lead. It's a New York State law. So if you have young children, it's important to make sure that you have your children tested. Children does get screened for lead up to age 6 years of age. And when I said screen, when you take them in for that physical, that yearly physical, the doctor will ask you certain questions, and based on those questions, they will test the child. But it is only mandatory at 1 and 2 years of age, because the keeping things of what the kids do, they take things and they put in their mouth, and that would probably put them more at risk. And keep in mind of, some of the households that we do live in, some of those apartments, if they're poorly maintained, is possible sources of where you can get lead. Okay, and any building built before 1960, we have to presume there is lead paint if they haven't done any renovation. So when you look at your neighborhoods, some of us maybe live in the Bronx, Brooklyn, and Manhattan, and you can see like different neighborhoods. The darker the color is the more kids with lead poison. So again, you know, you can take a look. The diagram hasn't changed over year, but you know, this is why, you know, we have to do some education within, especially in the darker areas, about lead poisoning. So yes, so that's one of the environmental hazards that's in our homes. Okay, as far as education, what do? We provide workshops. We call it parent talks. You know, we speak to parents, you know, we talk about all those topics that you see there about lead poison, lead sources, cooking safely, you know, getting your home safe, indoor air quality in their homes, or mold and moisture. As you see, these are all environmental topics that we do provide to the community and to parents. And, you know, you could see about window guards. As you know, if you do have young children and they're under 10, it's important to make sure that you have window guards in place in the home. We have all heard of situation of things happening, and we wanted to make sure that we have those things in place. Okay, we also have talks for falls prevention for older adults. So you can see it is not just for parents, but we also have one of our sessions that's geared for our older adults. So yes, so those are topics that we cover. We do these parent talks. We call it senior talks, where we do to senior centers or any agency or organization that's linked with older adults. We also do staff training. So say, for instance, one of the schools or, you know, or an agency that we are interested in getting these topics, we are available in person and virtually to do these talks on these topics. We also have professional trainings. We call them professional trainings for community organization. And it is basically what we do is come together, put a slew of topics as pertains to environmental health. Some of them are here on the topics we provide, and some of them we reach out to other community partners, example, the fire department, and we come up with and have them present and share some environmental things as to do with fire safety. So that's what our topic, our professional training is about. You know, we do it for agency that works with families, and we also do with agency servicing older adults. So that's our professional trainings. And with that, the individual do get a certificate for attending that webinar, and it's mostly virtually. And we offer it for now. We were doing it quite often, but we've only had it maybe once a year. We also have, in which I'll go over, our educational materials, our information line, and about if you're having tabling events, health fairs, resource fairs. They have different names at times. We do participate in those events. And as you see, we do presentation in multiple languages, Spanish, Bengali, and Russian. So that's our educational sessions that we have available for you to educate our parents. So in addition to the talks, we also have general information materials that we distribute. An agency or anyone can order from us. As you see, the slew of different things we have it in various languages. And what you can do is to complete it and fax it in or mail it in to us, and it's free. And you just put your request, and then you're not limited to one request per year. You can order as many times as you wish. Okay, so that's some of our educational materials that's available. And to access the order form, you can actually go to that website, and it will direct you link to that order form, and you complete it and just send it in to us. All the instructions as far as where to send it is on the page. In addition, we also have a lead poisoning prevention curriculum for any schools or organization that do ESL. You can include some of the lessons. There's different lesson plans are on to introduce the topic on lead. to the students. It's safety, know about your home. As you know, lead is a metal and it's poisonous and it affects, mostly younger children. Sometimes you find lead coming from other countries. Some of the students are from countries where lead may be an issue. So learning about lead would be great. And, we always tell people, if you're concerned, always check in with your provider about getting tested. So the curriculum is there for any organizations that they can download and access and get to incorporate that in part of their lesson plan to the students. We also have a monthly newsletter. So to get on this newsletter what happens is that when you become associated with us, we have either done a parent talk with you or some type of education with you. You go into our database, a network of database that we have. We put your information there, and every time that we have any announcements or we are sending out our newsletter, you become part of that list. That newsletter is there, and we're hoping you read it and also share it out to the different groups that you're working with. So if you're working with parents, hopefully you're sharing that information to the parents, okay? Okay. We also have an information line, and it is basically for anyone to call us. It is in operation from 8:30 to 4:30 from Monday to Friday. Yes, you can leave a message and then we'll be able to call you back and answer questions. We do get questions from parents, caregivers about lead poisoning, complaints, who should we speak to, who should we call, etc., or general information. An inspector came to my house. I don't know what to do. So we give you some advice. And that's what the number is. And say, for instance, you can't reach me, you forgot my phone number, you can call that number and just ask for me, and then someone will direct you to me. So that's our information line, and it's there, and it's available for anyone to be able to call and get someone and some assistance. For this month, we do have and every month since 2020, we put together these virtual webinars. So every month we have a schedule. We sometimes invite other partners to take part of it and to, give you some education around different environmental topics. So last month and this month is Hispanic a Heritage Month. So we partner with Literacy Inc., a CBO, a community organization that does a lot of reading to families. So we partner with them, giving them some times to do some routine baby tips for parents, and also to incorporate one of our environmental topics during the session, the hour session that we offer. So as you know, it's done in Spanish, and we only have 2 sessions left because the month will be ending next week. And we also, on the Friday, we're inviting these community-based organization or whomever that contributed to these webinars and having a CBO celebration. Our celebration could be just, getting some education, and we'll have some raffle, for those agencies that have, directed some of the parents to these workshops to learn about some baby tips and some environmental topics. So that's what we have. We also have during the week of the 24th through the 28th is National Lead Poisoning Prevention Week. And we've partnered with the Housing Preservation Development, if you heard of HPD, and Department of Environmental Protection, and our Consumer Product Safety Commission. And we'll be having a slew of webinars each day, so folks can learn about lead. So on the 24th, as you can see, we're going to be doing something on beyond lead paint, talking about lead in drinking water and other sources of lead. We'll go into our HPD talk. We're going to be giving you an overview of the New York City requirements. They're talking about the law as it pertains to lead-based paint, and as far as families, how it affects you. We'll talk about work safe, some individuals who are working with, doing construction work, and they somehow will come across lead. So we'll have a session for them. We're having it in Spanish and English, and we'll have other lead talks. So that is open up to the community. Anyone could join and to learn about lead and the different sources. So to get the schedule, it's this is the instruction on how to get to the website, and also the direct link is there. If you have a reader on your phone, or QR code, you can snap it, and then you could be able to get the schedule. The link is the same every month, but the schedule changes. So we try to do topics, especially, it's coming winter time, so we may have some winter safety information. As you can see, we've also partnered with the Poison Control Center, and they also have some webinars coming up around medicine safety for parents. And they're having it in English, Spanish, and Chinese Mandarin. And also too, if you do have parents who speak Bengali, we do have some webinars for that community also. So it'd be great if you can actually share our information and share it out to the parents for them to, to be educated and have some knowledge around these topics. So I just want to kind of highlight, and I mentioned early about the Hispanic Heritage Month, our celebration. And yes, we're working with Literacy Inc. This Thursday again at 1 p.m., if you have any parents, Spanish-speaking parents, and wish to get some tips taking care of their babies, you can always join the session. And then next week, it will be the last Thursday. Because the month celebration will be ending. So we appreciate it if you can just share the information with your parents. Okay, another resource which is really great, it is open to anyone, is you don't have to be an agency. You could be anyone that's curious and wants to know as far as environmental health, what's happening. So the health department has this data portal online. You can go there. You could even, when you go there, look at a tab that says data, and it will direct you to this portal. So the portal is basically there that you can get data for over 250 indicators on 50 different environmental health topics. You could also explore your neighborhood. If I live in Manhattan, I can look to see what's happening in Central Harlem, what's happening in East Harlem, what's happening in Upper Manhattan, so you can take a look. And they have some data stories on important health topics. So if you're curious and wish to learn some more, you can visit them. They have some information there. And not only that, they do have some math activity, STEM activity on the site. So you can take a look and, and see if it's something where your little ones may be interested in. So if to get access, again, the direct access, that's the website that's in the bottom. And lastly, I'm going to talk about some community resources. It's important that, you can share this information out to parents so learn about lead poisoning, as it's important. That's our website, which has a slew of information about lead, and you can give us a call. We also have part of our site information about hazardous products that contains lead. You can visit the site. And if anyone needs to report peeling, crack, or loose paint, first thing we always tell you to do is to speak to the landlord first. Because what happens when you call the city, the landlord is going to be like, you didn't tell me, So we tell you to speak to the landlord first. If it becomes a problem for them to fix, or if they're doing some unsafe work, then you could tell them to call 311 and to request a free inspection. It's no cost. A lot of times parents will say, is this something where there's a charge to it? No, it's free inspection. Okay. If you live in a New York City Housing Authority maintenance issue, you call that 718-707 number. If you're interested in our community workshops, which is open to the community, You can go on the website and search and be able to see what we have on a monthly basis. If also too, as a group, you're interested in partnering with us in coming up with some strategies of educating the community about any of these environmental topics, that's our phone number and that's our email address. And then I believe that's how Aisha and I communicated. And to also to let you know that the New York City Poison Center is available. You can share that number with their parents, especially parents. You know, you should have that phone number in on your phone. Is important. Emergency happen at times, and you may want to you know, call someone. So you could be able to call the Poison Center. They're 24/7. You get a live person over the phone, so you could be able to ask questions. And lastly, our data portal. Again, you can always email them if you have questions or you're interested in getting a presentation about the portal, how to use it. You can email them and ask them. Okay. And we just wanted to remind you that you can always follow the health department on their different social media sites. They're in Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. So some, especially I see on their YouTube, they do a lot about the vaccine information, and they have Tumblr. So you can actually be connected with them. And any question, I'm here. I'm gonna stop sharing. Any questions for me?
Ms. Gordon, would you be able to send the deck? Thank you. I appreciate you being with us tonight. It was very informative. If you would be able to email me the deck, and then we'll be able to pass it out.
Yes.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yes. I will after this. You know, I'm done with you. I'm gonna PDF it and send it to you so that you can send it out to the group. And if anyone have any questions, they could ask. I just can't wait to see it.
Any questions?
Not so much of a question, but I just learned, I'm wondering if you have any insight on this. I just learned about a new 3-digit number to call if you feel someone may be in a mental health crisis or a crisis mode. I know some of our children do get in crisis. So this number is 988. Have you heard of anything on that?
No, but you know, the health department does have a mental health area. And so if you would like to be connected with them, I can definitely reach out to someone. Aisha, you can always email me. And so you can speak, because I don't speak on anything that had to do with mental health, because we have a whole section of the health department, and that's what their focus is on, mental health. But yes, that 988 number, I'm not sure about, but yes, I do know, I've heard of the 988 number.
Okay, thank you so much for that.
No problem, Joanne. Any other question? Or it doesn't even have to be a question. It could be just a concern. Anything?
In terms of the window guards, what floor should they start on? Should it be on like the ground floor, or and what age?
The age is, once you have a child 10 and under, you should have window guards. And it's not a floor, it's just to make sure that you have it in place in your apartment if you have young children under 10.
I'm sorry. So even like on the ground floor, if someone lives on the ground floor, they should have window guards as well.
Window guards, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Okay. Well, if there are no other questions, I want to thank Ms. Gordon. We appreciate the information that you shared with us today, and we will definitely share it to our community. It will be helpful and impactful. Thank you. there's a question?
No, it's not a question, but I just wanted to let Ms. Gordon know. I think she had reached out to the council in regards to attending the tabling at the back to school event for District 75. And she's welcome to attend any of the events. We're gonna make sure that either we have a table or half a table for her, but she's welcome to attend.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Gordon.
So what happened was, because of what happened last week, my event from last week has been changed to this week. So unfortunately, I would not be able to attend, but I do want to see if the school would be interested in us, tabling at any time. It doesn't have to be this Saturday, but during the time, and to come in, and we are available to do presentations, so let me know. You can email me back, but unfortunately I would not be there this Saturday because of what happened last week. So everything got mm-hmm.
Sure. So our Bronx also has been rescheduled, and it's rescheduled for Saturday, October 22nd. So you can put that on your calendar if you can make that day. But thank you.
Yes, no problem. No problem. And thank you so much. As you can see, everyone sends everything out, and we, try to send out as much educational information out. But yes, you can tell all those schools if they're interested. I'll respond back and just let everyone know that we are available at any time to, if you have other events coming up, we can come and table.
Well, thank you, Ms. Gordon. We appreciate your time.
Okay.
We appreciate it.
All right. Thank you so much, and take care, everyone, and I will be in touch.
Okay.
Take care.
Okay, thank you. Good night. I see that there are a few new participants. So Mr. Morales and Mr. Lee, I believe, and Juliet. Before we were discussing just some points of interest that you may have in terms of safety, not necessarily physical safety, wellness, emotional wellness, that topics that you would like us to bring to you. If you have any, this is the time to share so we can get the information to you.
Hey, Aisha, at this time, I don't, but I'm going to be thinking, and if something comes up, I'll definitely get in contact with you.
Okay, thank you, Angel. Appreciate. Oh, and can you introduce yourself because Joanne and myself, we introduced ourselves as members of the safety committee. So you just introduce yourself, please.
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Angel Morales. I am part of the council for District 75.
Short and sweet. Thank you. Okay.
You're very welcome.
Okay. Does anyone else have any input? We're here for you. The information that we bring to you will be what you tell us. We don't want it to only be what we think is important. We want to give you information that was relevant to your lives, your needs, your wants, your desires. So any more input? If not, we are going to say good night and be well. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate your attendance tonight. And Ms. Gordon's the deck and the PDF will be available within a few days for everyone to review. On the website, possibly, and on, Christy, can you just put the website and the website in the chat so everyone has it, please?
Yep, I got you right now.
And the website is also, it's not for safety alone. It has a wealth of resources. I was just telling Christy earlier how much she has done and how impactful that I think it will be. We just need people to visit and from there, you can find a wealth of resources. So Christy put it in the chat, if anyone's not aware, CCD75.org. Well, with that, I want to thank you all for being here, and you have a good night. Thank you.
Good night,
Thank you.
everyone.
Good night, guys.
Good morning,